What's up everyone, welcome to this multi-part training series on getting started with Redshift in Cinema 4D. My name's Ellie and I'm part of the Maxon training team, and I'm here to help guide you along this journey of learning Redshift. Lighting is one of the key stages of creating a render. Good or bad lighting can drastically change how our image or animation looks. So it's important to spend some time learning and understanding how we can use these tools to help better our creativity. In this video, we're going to learn how to get started working with Redshift lights, including different light types and settings, as well as a couple of simple lighting setups. Let's dive into Cinema 4D and get started. We're going to be working with a pre-made scene which has our model in, but we have no lights or materials just yet. Let's make sure our renderer is set to Redshift first, so our dynamic palettes change to our Redshift tools, and dock our render view to see any changes. Now we can start adding different lights to our scene. All Redshift lights can be found in this main menu here, and as you can see we have a wide range of different light options to use. The most commonly used are the area light and or dome light, and we'll be using these a bit later on in our scene. It's also important to remember that your lighting setup will depend on the type of render you're creating. For example, a product visualization shot versus an interior lighting scene can be very different. First, let's take a quick look at a few of the light types. I'll add a point, spot, and infinite light to the scene, as these three lights all have similar settings. A point light simulates a bare bulb emitting in all directions. A spotlight will emit in a cone shape, and an infinite light will create a light source infinitely far from the scene, which has no position, only direction. Using the Move, Scale and Rotate tools, we can adjust, resize and reposition the lights in our scene. Here, under the Object tab, we can control the intensity or brightness of the light, which is set to physical units, as well as exposure, which works as an intensity multiplier. The decay will control the light fall off, but for physical accuracy, I'd recommend leaving this on quadratic. Just below this, we can change the colour of our light, either based on a colour, temperature, or a colour and temperature mix, and we can use this to really add to or change the mood of our scene. We've taken a quick look at some of the different Redshift light types, so now let's get lighting our scene using a couple of other options. When first working on a scene, I like to create some overall ambient lighting. And to do this, we can use a dome light. Already we can see that makes a huge difference to the look. This is an infinite light which allows us to use a HDR image to generate high quality lighting results. Again, we have some similar settings like intensity, exposure, and color. But just below those, we have a texture input. And this is where we can add a HDR image. But what is a HDRI, you may ask? Well, it stands for High Dynamic Range Image, and it's a 360-degree image that is wrapped around a scene or model for lighting and background purposes. It's created by mixing several photos of the same scene with different exposures, and in our case, we're going to use it inside the dome light to light our scene. You can find a variety of different HDRs online, but we also supply a wide range for free inside Cinema 4D's asset browser. Just search HDR and scroll down to Image Media. Then all you have to do is pick the one you want to use, drag and drop it into the texture input, then watch the magic happen. If we look at our render view, we can see exactly how this HDR image is affecting our lighting, and we can even rotate our dome light to get a different look. Under the Object tab, we now have a few more options available to us. We can color correct our texture by adjusting hue, saturation, and gamma values. Another tip which can be useful is if you don't want to see this HDR or want to use a different image in the background, you can hide the main texture here, then add a new image which will be seen in the background instead. Now our first image is lighting our scene, and our second is our background. Already with the dome light, we have some nice lighting in our scene, but let's add a couple of area lights to create some nice reflections and help bring out some of those smaller details. A trick I like to use when repositioning an area light is using a target tag. If we right-click on our area light, under animation tags, we have a target tag, and this allows me to choose an object that our light will point towards. In this case, I'll drop the model into the target object path. Now if I reposition my area light, it will always be facing the model. We can see that this light is too bright, and we're getting some really white, blown out areas. So we need to adjust the intensity and bring that down quite a lot. Then we can continue to reposition our light until we're happy. An extra feature of the area light is also the ability to change the shape of the light itself. This can help represent physical light boxes used in photo studios, as well as changing the size, which will also result in a change of intensity. The bigger the light, the more intense, and vice versa. I'm using these area lights to brighten up some of the darker areas, especially where we have some of those smaller details. Often you may want to add a couple of area lights to your scene for these reasons, and don't forget you can play with the colours and intensities to change the mood. I'm happy with how this light setup is looking, and if we go back and disable all of our lights, we can see how much of a difference just a few of them have made to our scene. Before we finish up, let's take a quick look at one final light. That's the physical sun. If I disable my lights again, we're starting from the beginning, and now I can add the physical sun. This light is a physically accurate representation of real sunlight, and is often used with the physical sky shader. If we look in the Object tab, we can see some slightly different options. Again, we have our usual intensity, but we also have some colour options where we can increase or decrease the red or blue values of our sunlight, as well as the saturation. The final set of options relate to the atmosphere of our sun. Turbidity is the haziness of our air and can create a clear or dirty looking sky. Ozone can increase the oranges or blues in the sunlight. And finally, when working with the sky rig, we can control the height of our horizon line. Before we finish up this video, I want to leave you with one final quick tip. If you've previously worked with Cinema 4D's standard or physical renderer, and you already have some scenes created, then you can easily convert existing Cinema 4D lights to Redshift lights. Just select the light, and then under the General tab, you can press the Convert to Redshift button. And don't forget, different scenes will often require different light setups, so always try a few things out to see what works best. In the next video, we'll be looking at creating Redshift materials from scratch. In particular, the Redshift standard material, adjusting base properties, and starting to work with nodes inside Cinema 4D's node editor. I'll see you there.